Battle Through the Heavens, Episode 198, Xiao Yan battles Hun Miesheng. Xiao Yi unleashes 10 Buddha's Wrathfire Lotuses in succession, blasting through the entire battlefield, and Xiao Yan crushes Hun Miesheng into dregs with a single palm strike. This ultimate showdown between the Tianfu Alliance and the Hall of Souls was filled with the pressure of life and death from the very beginning. Both sides had agreed on a best-of-3 duel, yet no one expected the first 2 peak battles to end in draws. The 6-star Dou Sheng ancestor of the Pill Tower clashed head-on with Hun Qianmo, while the 5-star Dou Sheng Xiao Chen fought desperately against the Old Demon Hunmo. Through both battles, neither side managed to gain the upper hand. All the pressure instantly fell onto Xiao Yan, who was the final fighter to appear. On one side stood Hun Miesheng, the Hall Master of the Hall of Souls, a mid-stage 5-star Dou Sheng who held a treasured flame of the Hun clan, the sub-flame of nihility devouring flame, ranked second on the heavenly flame ranking. On the other side stood Xiao Yan, only an early-stage 5-star Dou Sheng. Everyone believed this would be a crushing battle with no suspense at all. Even Hun Miesheng himself carried the arrogance of certain victory, waiting only to erase Xiao Yan completely at the fallen summit. Xiao Yan looked toward the Hall Master of the Hall of Souls hovering in midair. His hands quickly formed a series of complicated seals, urging the pink purifying demonic lotus flame above his head to surge into the sky. As the flame churned, terrifying heat spread outward, turning the entire world into a steaming furnace. Several mountain peaks within the fallen mountain range ignited without any spark, and thick smoke rushed straight into the clouds. The weaker cultivators felt the dou qi inside their bodies boiling. Those whose emotions fluctuated more violently even found their bodies heating up for no reason. This was the unique ability of the purifying demonic lotus flame, using emotion as a trigger to make a person's body combust from within. The crowd was so frightened that they retreated again and again toward the edge of the mountain range. The elders of the various sects also looked at the flame with both solemn fear and envy. Old Demon Hunmo frowned deeply at the sight. He knew just how troublesome the purifying demonic lotus flame was. Even if he were the one facing it, he would have to be extremely careful. Although the Hall Master of the Hall of Souls possessed a high cultivation level, a single careless mistake could still cause him to fall here. Hun Qianmo also sighed at Xiao Yan's fortune in subduing such a flame. Back then, even when he had acted personally, he had returned empty-handed. Still, he did not believe Xiao Yan could easily win with this flame alone. In midair, the Hall Master of the Hall of Souls stared fixedly at the surging flame. His eyes held seriousness but also a greed that could not be hidden. Soon, the pink flame condensed into a circular fire disk. Along its edges were the patterns of the 6 heavenly flames Xiao Yan had refined before, while at the center burned a crystalline demonic flame. Xiao Yan then activated his killing move, the Buddha's Wrath Reincarnation. The spinning fire disk shot out a beam of flame. As it met the wind, it expanded violently until it was dozens of zhang wide. With a single strike, an entire mountain peak was reduced to nothingness, leaving behind only a giant pit nearly 100 zhang wide and so deep that the bottom could not be seen. Xiao Yan immediately changed the direction of the fire beam. The beam swept close to the ground, carving out a smooth ravine 1,000 zhang long. Moving as fast as thunder, it completely enveloped the Hall Master of the Hall of Souls just as he was about to retreat. Trapped within the fire beam, the Hall Master's dou qi melted away at a speed visible to the naked eye. Even though he continuously circulated his dou qi to replenish it, he could not keep up with the rate of destruction. The watching experts all felt that he would not be able to hold on for long. Seeing that his opponent was still stubbornly resisting, Xiao Yan changed his hand seals once again and pushed the reincarnation beam further. The fire disk began spinning backward at high speed. The fire beam rapidly compressed until it was only as thick as a thumb, condensing a violently destructive energy within it. With a sharp shout from Xiao Yan, this beam containing all of its power smashed fiercely into the Hall Master of the Hall of Souls. After a deafening explosion, terrifying waves of flame spread outward. Even Dou Sheng experts hurriedly dodged aside. Yao Lao and the others showed joy on their faces, and the spectators all believed that the outcome had already been decided. Only Hun Qianmo sneered in disdain. Xiao Yan also grew alert. He felt that things could not possibly be this simple. Sure enough, strange sounds soon came from within the flames. The figure of the Hall Master of the Hall of Souls slowly walked out. He even absorbed all the surrounding purifying demonic lotus flame into his body. He emerged completely unharmed, shocking the entire battlefield. Not only did he savor the taste of the demonic flame, he also summoned a strange black flame capable of devouring the energy of heaven and earth. As the black flame churned, it condensed into the shape of a human face, releasing a terrifying devouring force. The moment Xiao Yan saw the black flame, his pupils suddenly shrank. He recognized it immediately. This was the heavenly flame ranked second on the heavenly flame ranking, even stronger than the purifying demonic lotus flame, the nihility devouring flame. Seeing the strange black flame summoned by the Hall Master, huge waves surged through Xiao Yan's heart. He knew at a glance that this was the nihility devouring flame, ranked second on the heavenly flame ranking, one place higher than his own purifying demonic lotus flame. This heavenly flame was born from emptiness. It had no form, no fixed shape, and was said to be capable of swallowing heaven and devouring earth. Possessed the terrifying ability to consume all things. There were very few existences in the world that could resist it. Compared with the purifying demonic lotus flame, which had at least appeared in the world before, the nihility devouring flame existed almost only in legend. Its mystery far surpassed the former. Xiao Yan had never heard any news of it appearing in the world before. Now that he was seeing it with his own eyes, the shock in his heart was difficult to describe. Yao Lao also recognized the origin of the black flame immediately. His face was instantly filled with astonishment, and he muttered in disbelief. His words caused the many experts present to tremble. Even a peak figure like the ancestor of the Pill Tower had an extremely grave expression. The nihility devouring flame was far too mysterious. Only a very small number of top-tier experts could recognize it. Most of the spectators looked at the black flame with confusion written all over their faces. After devouring the remaining flames of the purifying demonic lotus flame, the black flame that had formed a human face grew even more powerful. It even let out strange cries filled with excitement. Seeing this, the Hall Master of the Hall of Souls laughed faintly. He teased Xiao Yan, saying that the black flame seemed to enjoy the taste of the purifying demonic lotus flame very much, and that he rarely saw it this excited. Xiao Yan stared fixedly at the black flame for a long while. Then, he suddenly shook his head slowly and said in a deep voice that this flame was not the true nihility devouring flame at all. The moment these words came out, the entire crowd erupted. Even Yao Lao looked stunned. Through all, that unique devouring power belonged to the nihility devouring flame alone. No other heavenly flame could possess such an ability. The Hall Master raised his brows and stroked the black flame in his palm. He asked Xiao Yan if this was not the nihility devouring flame, then what was it? Xiao Yan gradually calmed the shock in his heart. He possessed 6 heavenly flames, and when it came to understanding heavenly flames, there were few on the entire continent who could compare with him. Once he settled down, he quickly sensed that something was wrong. He directly pointed out that although this flame possessed the devouring power of the nihility devouring flame, its strength was far too weak. It should only be a sub-flame separated from the source flame. As he spoke, he clearly saw the Hall Master's eyes narrow slightly, and he immediately understood that he had guessed correctly. The flame in his opponent's hand were truly the main body of the nihility devouring flame. The energy in this entire region would probably have been completely devoured long ago. Things would not look the way they did now. At the same time, Xiao Yan's heart grew extremely heavy. Since the other side possessed a subflame, that meant the Hun clan truly controlled the main body of the nihility devouring flame. This was an enormous hidden danger. The Hall Master of the Hall of Souls held the black flame in his palm and smiled faintly, silently confirming Xiao Yan's speculation. He admitted that the nihility devouring flame was a treasured existence of the Hun clan. Even though his status was not low, he was still not qualified to bring the main body out of the Hun realm. However, even if this was only a subflame, it was more than enough to deal with Xiao Yan. As soon as his words fell, he allowed the human-faced black flame to wildly devour the Dou Qi in his body. As Dou Qi continuously poured into it, the black flame became increasingly powerful. After releasing a piercing shriek, it expanded until it was nearly 100 zhang wide. Black flames burned across the sky. The experts present all felt the Dou Qi inside their bodies trying to burst out uncontrollably, and they hurriedly suppressed it with all their strength. The hall master spoke to the black flame in a respectful tone, ordering it to kill Xiao Yan. The human-faced black flame let out several strange cries. In an instant, it passed through space and sealed off every area around Xiao Yan. Black flame threads condensed into a prison, trapping him within. It let out a sharp, eerie laugh, intending to devour him completely. A terrifying devouring force erupted. Xiao Yan's expression changed drastically. Just as he was about to act and suppress the heavenly flames rioting inside his body, a vast pink flame suddenly surged out from within him. Condensed into a palm-sized fire spirit, Xiao Yi. Xiao Yan's heart jolted, and he hurriedly shouted for Xiao Yi to come back. Xiao Yi had fused with the source power of 6 heavenly flames. If it were devoured by the black flame, the consequences would be unimaginable. But Xiao Yi shook its head. Its childish little face was filled with fury. Its main consciousness leaned toward the purifying demonic lotus flame, so it simply could not tolerate this subflame of the nihility devouring flame acting so arrogantly in front of it. With an angry cry, Xiao Yi's body suddenly exploded apart. A sea of pink flames instantly swept across the sky. Not only did it shatter the black flame prison, it also condensed in reverse into an even larger flame cage, trapping the giant black face inside. As a spirit of flame, Xiao Yi's control over heavenly flames was far more perfect than Xiao Yan's. The devouring power of a mere subflame had no effect at all. Under the stunned gazes of everyone present, Xiao Yi transformed into a giant baby as large as the black flame face. Pinned the other party down and opened its mouth to bite. It actually intended to devour this subflame of the nihility devouring flame in return. After being bitten fiercely by Xiao Yi, the human face formed from the nihility devouring flame's subflame let out a miserable scream. It frantically activated its black flames to struggle and resist, but Xiao Yi's body formed a pink crystalline flame armor. Completely ignored the devouring force and continued to punch the human face again and again. Every punch carried pink flames that invaded the black flame, making its form grow more and more unstable. The subflame was both shocked and furious, but it was only a separated source clone. Could not possibly defeat Xiao Yi, a flame spirit that had fused with 6 heavenly flames. Xiao Yi understood its furious roars, and the fierceness on its little face grew even stronger. Grabbed the human face and wrapped it completely in overwhelming pink flames, intending to refine it on the spot. The subflame panicked completely. The devouring ability it had always been proud of was utterly useless against Xiao Yi. All it could do was shriek and threaten. Not far away, the hall master of the Hall of Soul's expression changed drastically. He discovered that his connection with the subflame had been completely severed. This subflame was a trump card he had painstakingly obtained from the clan. Not only could it assist him in battle, it also gave him a chance to learn the devouring power. He absolutely could not afford to lose it. He immediately tried to rush over and rescue it, but Xiao Yan flashed forward and blocked him firmly. The hall master was shocked and furious. He could only launch a fierce attack at Xiao Yan. However, because the subflame had devoured a large amount of his Dou Qi earlier, his condition was far worse than before. He could not break through Xiao Yan's obstruction at all and was entangled firmly in place. In midair, Xiao Yi continuously poured flames into the fireball. The trapped subflame finally could not withstand the pressure and exploded with a loud boom, turning into countless black fire serpents that fled in all directions. Hun Qianmo and Old Demon Hunmo immediately tried to act and rescue it, but Yao Lao, the Pill Tower ancestor, and the others blocked them on the spot. The experts of both sides instantly faced each other down. The atmosphere atop Fallen's summit became tense and sharp, as if a chaotic battle could erupt at any moment. Hun Qianmo knew clearly that the strength of both sides was roughly equal. If they fought recklessly, even victory would come at a terrible cost, which did not match the Hun clan's current interests at all. In the end, he could only suppress his movements and order his side to stop. Both sides withdrew, and the tense atmosphere temporarily eased. That moment, Xiao Yi drove a flame storm to shred all the fleeing black fire serpents. Then it opened its mouth and swallowed every last one of them. Satisfied, it patted its belly, shrank back into its palm-sized form, and floated beside the battle between Xiao Yan and the Hall Master. It raised its hand and summoned 10 rotating fire lotuses. Following a childish command, the fire lotuses lined up and blasted violently toward the Hall Master of the Hall of Souls. Continuous explosions triggered a terrifying chain reaction. The Hall Master was blasted backward in a miserable state. He groaned and swallowed the blood rising into his throat, his heart filled with shock at the strength of this tiny fire baby. Xiao Yan seized the opportunity and flashed behind him. A sharp palm wind chopped downward. The Hall Master hurriedly turned and blocked the attack. Both of them were forced back by the resulting energy wave. Seeing that the situation had turned against him, he threatened Xiao Yan and prepared to leave. But the moment he turned his head, he saw Xiao Yi's next round of 10 fire lotuses rushing straight toward him. They slammed fiercely into his body. The terrifying, violent force instantly swept through him, leaving only endless horror in his heart. A storm of flames surged through the sky above Fallen's summit. Terrifying heat roasted the earth until it cracked. Within a radius of 1,000 zhang, only Dou Sheng experts dared to step even half a pace inside. Looking at this world-shaking explosion, the entire mountain range fell silent. Everyone understood that after being struck head-on by such a ferocious attack, even if the Hall Master of the Hall of Souls survived, he would no longer have any fighting strength. This peak battle had reached its conclusion. Powerful figures of the various Central Plains sects watching from afar were deeply shaken. The Hall Master of the Hall of Souls was a peak expert famous for many years. He had personally built the Hall of Souls' terrifying reputation as an overlord. Yet now he had been defeated by Xiao Yan, a member of the younger generation. After this battle, Xiao Yan and the Tianfu Alliance would undoubtedly become the most eye-catching focus of the Central Plains. Many people had already decided in their hearts that the position of Central Plains Overlord was about to change hands. The experts of the Tianfu Alliance were filled with joy and pride. Through battle after battle, Xiao Yan had established himself as the spiritual leader of Tianfu. Through this fight, Tianfu could finally suppress the Hall of Souls and stand at the peak of the Central Plains. In contrast, the Hall of Souls side was deathly silent. Everyone looked dazed, unable to accept that the Hall of Souls, which had dominated the Central Plains for so many years, had suffered such a complete defeat. Old Demon Hunmo's expression shifted between rage and gloom as he shouted angrily. Hun Qianmo, however, remained dark and calm. In his heart, he only thought that once the Hun clan's plan began, he would make sure the Tianfu Alliance was completely destroyed. Soon, the flame storm slowly scattered. The Hall Master of the Hall of Souls was thrown out. His entire body was charred black and covered in horrifying wounds, his aura weak to the extreme. He struggled to open his eyes and hoarsely threw down threats of revenge at Xiao Yan. But Xiao Yan's eyes held only icy killing intent. He knew how strange and dangerous the Hun clan's methods were. If he allowed this tiger to return to the mountain, it would surely become a great disaster in the future. More than that, he had to use this moment to repay the blood debt of the Xiao clan. Immediately, his figure flashed as he rushed toward the falling Hall Master. He struck straight at the man's skull with one palm. People from the Hall of Souls were horrified and shouted for him to stop. Hun Qianmo was even more furious. He tore through distorted space and appeared to block Xiao Yan, throwing a punch directly at him. Xiao Yan did not slow his palm at all. He ordered Xiao Yi to summon fire lotuses to resist the fist wind. He forcefully endured Hun Qianmo's heavy blow, coughing up a mouthful of blood, but at the same time his palm smashed fiercely into the Hall Master's head. He shattered the Hall Master's skull and completely destroyed his physical body, then immediately withdrew and retreated. Seeing this, Hun Qianmo's eyes nearly split with rage. He roared that he would kill Xiao Yan, but the Pill Tower ancestor appeared in time and stopped him. Facing Hun Qianmo's threats, the Pill Tower ancestor remained completely unmoved. Hun Qianmo knew there was no longer any chance today. With a gloomy expression, he could only collect the broken soul of the Hall Master of the Hall of Souls and lead the Hall of Souls people away in disgrace. Xiao Yan watched them leave, feeling somewhat regretful that he had not managed to completely burn away the Hall Master's soul. Pill Tower ancestor turned around, looked at him, shook his head and laughed softly. He admitted that he had never believed anyone could truly stand against the Hun clan before. But now he felt that Xiao Yan, this descendant of the Xiao clan, might truly be able to accomplish the grand ambition that even Xiao Xian had failed to realize back then. The Fallen Summit decisive battle that shook the Central Plains officially ended with the defeat of the Hall Master of the Hall of Souls. The result of this battle was beyond the expectations of many people. The Hall of Souls, which had dominated the Central Plains for hundreds of years, had finally encountered an opponent capable of thoroughly damaging its momentum. The Tianfu Alliance, which had once been formed by several forces and looked down upon by the older generation, had gone through years of adjustment and risen with astonishing speed. The alliance now possessed more than a dozen Dou Sheng experts. Such a foundation was enough to make even the old established powers of the Central Plains feel ashamed. Adding Xiao Yan, who had defeated the Hall Master of the Hall of Souls, its deterrent power became unmatched. Through this battle, the name of the Tianfu Alliance spread to every corner of the Central Plains. The news that the Central Plains overlord had changed hands stirred up enormous waves. When the battle report returned to the Tianfu Alliance, the entire alliance fell into a celebration that lasted half a month. After the celebration ended, however, the Tianfu higher-ups remained clear-headed. They absolutely could not imitate the arrogance and tyranny of the Hall of Souls. Therefore, the alliance immediately issued strict orders forbidding its members from acting arrogantly by relying on Tianfu's new status. Anyone who violated the order would be expelled from the alliance directly. This calm restraint caused the various forces of the Central Plains to look at the Tianfu Alliance with even greater respect. It also drew countless experts who had grudges against the Hall of Souls to come and join them. 3 months after the decisive battle ended, Xiao Yan remained hidden deep within the Star Realm, quietly cultivating. Through Xiao Yi devoured the subflame of the nihility devouring flame, a black bead containing devouring power formed inside Xiao Yan's body. First, Xiao Yan was wildly delighted. He thought he could use it to gain the ability to devour all things and speed up his cultivation. But he soon discovered that this black bead not only continuously devoured his Dou Qi and life force, but the energy it swallowed was also extremely mixed and impure. Even with heavenly flames, it was difficult to purify, could not be absorbed at all, and instead became a harmful burden. Just as Xiao Yan shook his head in disappointment and prepared to put the black bead away, Xiao Yi suddenly darted out from the flames, grabbed the black bead in its arms, its little face filled with greedy longing. Xiao Yan froze on the spot.